Blog Talk Radio.
All right, we're not going to have any intro music because this is a sensitive topic, so, no cutesy music or any of that. Welcome, everybody, to another edition of Ms. Bomey's Zone. How you doing?
Okay, how about you?
I'm doing well. Tough topic, huh?
It is a tough topic, and the reason why I decided to do this and what I originally had the idea, who I got the idea from, is one of my coworkers. Her husband's kind of going through a rough period with drugs and whatnot now, and we got to talking about it, and I thought, I wonder how many people are really aware of just how bad it is and how bad it impacts like a spouse or any other family member for that matter. So she gave me the idea. I did give her the number, so John, maybe she might be calling in and sharing a piece of her story later on. I don't know for sure, but if she does call, that would be great. If not, we'll just let it roll.
Yeah, be fantastic. If she has a chance to, love to hear.
Mm-hmm.
So did you? I did a little studying because I like to go into this stuff a little bit more educated than just what you know. It's shocking as I'm 55 years old. All right.
Yep.
Heard a lot of stuff, seen a lot of stuff. Wow. To get shocked as to what you don't know, what you don't realize, and some of the parts that are, because in a situation of addiction, it's everybody. It's not, and the wild thing is, it's not family either. It's not family. Yeah. It's workers, coworkers. It's family. It's friends. It's the people you normally see at the gas station going down to the gas. It affects everybody. Because I never even thought about it. Because wow, your attitude changes. You're always you got to get that next fix. You're scheming. The scheming part is a lot of it, and it's just you're not there anymore. You're not in that present. You're
not in the moment.
You're Bill. This is Bill. Bill's my friend. Bill goes out and does stuff, but you're not Bill anymore. You're always Bill looking for the next fix. So Bill doesn't have time for all the rest of that shit. People, none of it. And it's I was wild to see how devastating it really is.
It is. It's crazy. I know for me, I won't go too much into it, but we did have a person in my family that had a drug problem. That person, did get clean and sober, and unfortunately, because of all of the drugs that person did, he died at a young age. He was in his 40s when he passed. And it really impacted my family very negatively. Some took it harder than others. So watching that and being exposed to that, that was eye-opening for me. And then that led me to question, why do people do this? Because I'm sure that's got to be one of the top 10 questions that anybody who has had a family member or spouse or somebody, a friend, whatever, that is addicted, whether it's drugs, alcohol, gambling, pick your poison, because there's a lot out there. But my question was, why? What makes somebody do that? What makes somebody decide that I just don't want to deal with reality anymore, or, my life is shitty, or it's screwed up, or, whatever the thought process is, to get to that point to say, I'd rather just do drugs and not, deal with, whatever is going on with my life. I do think a lot of it is psychological, I think a lot of it is in your environment, how you grow up and whatnot. And that leads me to talking about another piece of it, which was Nikki Sixx from Motley Crue, who wrote the book about addiction, and it was called The Heroin Diaries. And for me, it was really eye-opening experience. And let me tell you, it really impacted me to the point where I really wanted to sit down. I don't smoke. I was ready to have a cigarette and a drink when I was done reading that book. Because just like you said, John, it's very eye-opening. You don't realize like some of the things. So I just want to take a minute and read some of the quotes out of his book. The first one, he says, dying could be easy. It was living that I didn't know if I could do. And I think that's so true of many people who are in that cycle. I really do. I mean, that's just
Absolutely.
my opinion. I don't know firsthand. The other thing that I thought was pretty interesting, you know, kind of going through and reading it, he talked about, you know, himself. So I'm going to quote what's in the book here. It says, I was born on December 11th, 1958, but I fell in love with drugs and alcohol for the first time when I was 6 years old. By the time I had accepted the fact that I would never have a real dad, but it's no secret that my mom didn't have a problem with bringing men around to try to fill that void, even if it was for herself and not me. I don't have a lot of memories of my childhood. I think in a lot of ways I blocked out most everything, or all my disappointments just ran into each other, creating a blur like trying to take a photo while moving. I think that sums it up the best.
Mm-hmm. I went and looked it up and did some research on. There's personalities that now. I'm going to say some stuff that'll probably piss some people off, so just be okay,
and
people.
We're not trying to do that.
Yeah, send me an email. Tell me how much I pissed you off. I'm sorry about it, but there's principles and ideas of this is a disease, okay?
Yep.
All right. But then one of the interesting things that I was reading was there are personalities. People that have addictive personalities. They don't know it yet,
yes.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And this individual said this is how stuff can begin. They called it the addiction cycle. Right? The person who has a addictive personality first gets into somehow or other of an emotional trigger. Okay? There's an emotional trigger. Now in rock and roll, it might be oh my God, there's 140,000 people sitting here. The show's over. What an incredible event. Wow. Then all these girls come in the back and you're like, what in the world? People shout and go, man, dude, you're the best in the world. And they're like, hey, come on, snort along. You don't know what is the emotional trigger that begins the cycle. Okay?
Right.
It could also be a sad one. It could be a death of a loved one. All right? Yep. It could be loss of a job. You know what I mean? You had a job. You're doing $115,000 a year. Everything was fantastic. Your life was it. It was good.
Yeah.
You mowed the lawn every Sunday. You went to Boy Scouts with your kid on Saturday. You know what I mean? You flied kites on Wednesday in the evening while your wife was out at the book club. It was a picture-perfect life. You lost a job. Now you're working at friggin' Walmart. You're pulling down about $40,000, and now everything's falling apart. That can be an emotional trigger.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So when the emotional trigger is activated, then it gets satisfied once, but then becomes the craving. Next becomes the craving. All right? Then the ritualistic behavior. All right? Where you find yourself, I'm just going to go out and visit Tony, Well, Tony's going to get you high. That's why you're going to go visit Tony. You know what I mean? You change your behaviors and you start having these new rituals, all right? These ritualistic behaviors. And then come the substance abuse and the addictive behaviors. All right? Then when those hit you hardcore, then comes guilt. And guilt becomes the new emotional trigger, which starts the cycle again.
Yep. Totally. Seen it. And that's, one of the other things that he said in his book, addiction doesn't just affect the addict, it also destroys their family and friends. And I do believe that because, like you say, that person that is addicted to, whatever it is, like you said, their personality, changes.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you
can change a little or a lot.
Oh, yeah. Think about with kids. Think about with the kids, right? They're used to one thing, all right? But when that emotional trigger happens and mommy or daddy begins the craving and then the ritualistic behaviors, those are new behaviors. That's a new craving. And when you have a life, okay, you don't have an unlimited amount of time, so you have to take away something to replace it with those new craving and those new ritualistic behaviors. So they have to take from somebody. So they end up taking from the family, taking from friends, taking from job. You have to take because you only have 24 hours in a day. So if you're going to be doing, I'm going to be going out and snorting heroin or snorting coke, or whatever it is that they're doing, all right, that takes time. That time has to come from somewhere. So they begin to change their behaviors, change their habits, and they take it away from the family, friends, and it affects jobs, everything.
It does. It can spiral downhill so, quickly. And for that person, it can really get out of control really quickly. I'm just going to take a moment here. We have a couple people in the chat room. We have Hornet Fixer, we have PPX416, and Smile Money. And Smile Money brought up a good point, too. He said that lots of people self-medicate with alcohol. That's true, too. I know sometimes when people think about addiction, they just think, their mind goes directly to drugs. But, alcohol is also included in there. I also want to just take a minute to say that we have 63 currently listening. So hello to everybody out there on the other side of the glass, and thanks for listening for tonight's show.
It's a sensitive topic, but if you got something you want to share or you want to tell an experience or a different part of it maybe we're not talking about, maybe you're like, hey, you guys haven't brought up this. It's 818-532-9773. And just remember, if you're, some people have said, that's a long distance call. You don't have to do it that way. You can go right through on your Gmail. Okay, I don't know the Gmail one, but you can go right through on your Gmail. At the very bottom, it'll say make a call. Press that. Type in 818-532-9773 and hit place the call. It'll put you through. Won't cost you a penny. So.
Yeah, thank you for reminding that. I keep forgetting about that. But if there really is somebody out there that does have a story to share, feel free to call and, share it with us, because like John says, there might be something that we're not talking about or that we're not, we haven't thought about during the course of this conversation that, maybe you want to bring up awareness to. And don't think that we're here to judge. We're just here to talk about this topic, because I know that heroin is starting to get to be quite bad again. Quite bad again,
insane? I'm blown away. I'm first, the crack was the one that just blew me away, because some people can do it, some people can't. I had one guy, now I may not be correct, so please forgive me, I'm not up on crack, but one guy told me that some people can do it, some people can't. When they first do it, that's when they find out. He said some people just die. If you can't do it, they just die. Yeah. It's like, what? I'm like, wait a minute, what do you mean? He was like, if they can do it, they have a great high. Then they become so addicted, it's unbelievable. He said it is it's a lead weight just dragging your life to pieces. He said, but if they can't do it, he said they just die. I'm like, well, how that? I always wondered that. Right at that moment, right there, you're flipping a coin. All right, now just envision this, if you would. All right.
Right.
There's a door. All right, and you're supposed to walk down the door. It's either a surprise, all right, or you die instantly. Would you even open the friggin' door?
That's like opening up Pandora's box. Really, for me, I can't. I don't know. If somebody came up to me and said, make a choice, pick either A or B, and there's a 50% chance that you're going to pick the wrong thing, I don't know.
But I know I'm always just now. I understand how these things happen. Okay, I'm not foolish. I understand they're at a party. All the kids are there. Blah 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 blah. Their friend gave them ecstasy 3 months ago, and nothing happened from that. They had a crazy wild night and met Terry. But now it's 3 months later, and they come on, you'll be fine. But this one is not that way. This one, once they take it, if they do get high and they don't die, now this one is like going to eat their life to pieces. I don't understand when you have that bad, when it's that bad of a deal. That crack is bad, that stuff. And then they have all these new ones like ice, and they have this, and they have, and the heroin, like I say, you're like, no, hold on, this is like forever. This is like dragging them down. There are people you see that have been on the street for 23 years. They're like,
Yeah.
I've been homeless for 23 years. Doing what? I just live to do heroin. What? Is it I mean, when something gets a hold of you that strong,
Excuse me.
I can't. For me, I don't understand. I guess I don't understand that moment. Where that moment, how easy that moment comes to. How does it come to people that easy? That's I mean, for me, in my brain, I don't understand. Now, I understand you have alcohol, you get a hangover, whatever. But when it comes to your whole life will be destroyed. And you're like, what? Your whole life's gonna be ruined, right? Or you'll die. So come on, let's try it. I never understand what puts a person. I can understand this, different. Like, they smoked some pot or they drank some beer or whatever because they were all upset about something. But when it comes to that really bad stuff, I never understood what makes somebody just decide today I'm doing heroin.
Well, I don't know. I just don't know how, like you say, going back to, what the trigger is. But, once the trigger has been pulled, then, the struggle is there and it's real.
Oh, yeah.
And,
oh, yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, I can only talk about, what I'm going to kind of bring my coworker Amy into the conversation here a little bit. When I was speaking to her about it, looking at it from a spouse's perspective, I said, how do you deal with that? Because she went through the whole process the first time, with her husband. And she said it was a very scary ordeal. When he was going through the whole withdrawal period, there was absolutely nothing that she could do. He was, just sitting there shaking, sick as a dog, and, the whole ball of wax. And, they got through it, and they came out the other end okay. But, then she said, and now she feels like he's falling back into those old patterns and those old habits again. And I said to her, I go, well, what do you think his trigger is? I mean, there's got to be something that, is it a trigger? Is it not dealing with your demons from your past and stuff? I said, what do you think it is? And she goes, I think that it could be a combination of, lots of things, just depending upon the individual. And I think she's right. I mean, she would know if she saw it firsthand.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. There, hang on here. Let me look this up real quick. I copied something and put it down so I would be able to. Let's see here. No, that's not it. I copied a paper so I would be able to bring it up. But it talked about there's addiction, and then there's becoming. That was really interesting. They were like, there's addiction, all right, which is where that the individual's at right then. Then there's a choice to become sober, all right. But then there's another whole portion which is becoming sober.
Right.
Apparently, that's a really, really, really serious spot. All right, but then this guy and this lady that were talking back and forth, they were like, but the lady said, but that isn't the most important spot. That's not the difficult spot. And he said, he was saying, well, what is the single most difficult? She went, staying sober. That's the hardest thing. She goes, because staying sober, that ends when you have your funeral. That's when the end of that process happens. It begins the day you decide you need to get sober. She goes, and it's a day-to-day struggle every single day.
Mm-hmm.
She goes, it's forever.
It truly is.
She said, you're always, no longer an addict. It's never going to happen.
You're
ever.
Recovering, and you're recovering, and you're in recovery. There was something that he said in here too. I'm just trying to find it that I thought kind of, summed it up pretty good.
I was amazed by that, when she was like, well, the hardest thing you ever friggin' do, all right, is staying sober, because the day you decided to get sober and you got sober, that was the beginning, and when you die, that is when you're done staying sober. Till then, every freaking day. And she said, 75 years old doesn't matter. Doesn't matter, she said. There's always the way to slip right back into it. And I was like, wow, that's just amazing.
He going back to Nikki's book, he said a lot of the addicts fall prey to the notion that after a period of time, they're cured and it's okay to go back out and give it another try. Perhaps some have succeeded in this exercise, but I've certainly never met one of these people. And he met a lot of people, let me just add that. Unfortunately, I was not able to go to his book signing, 10 years ago when he started this whole process. But he was mentioning that a lot of people came up to him and talked to him and said, I just got done reading your book, and thank you so much. It's helped me out. I mean, everybody from addicts, people that, were family and friends of maybe somebody who was addicted. And he said it was a good feeling. It gave him, validation that he made the right choice to put this book out there, to talk about it, and not put it out there in a judgmental way, and not to come across like this is a shameful thing. This thing is real.
Well, and I was looking at it, and they were showing some of the different things. I think he fell into the emotional trigger of one of the things they were talking about was mass excess. Okay.
Yeah.
That is such a massive emotional trigger. Like you and Eric right now. Okay. You guys are there. You do your thing and you make sure you keep it together. Okay. And you got to once in a while you got to play chess with a bill or two. All right. You got to play chess once in a while with something, but we're gonna get it. No checkmate. They got close. They said check, but no checkmate. Now I'm good. All right.
We're
but
good.
Then you go from that to $198 million.
Yeah.
And then you go, well, I'll take the annuitized. They go, okay, so every year we're gonna give you, like $18 million a year. A third of that goes to taxes. You're like, so I get to keep like what, $12 million a year? And they're like, yep. And I get that every year? Yep, the next 30 years. You're like, the fuck? Yeah. Are you kidding me?
Enter party like a rock star.
So what ends up happening, you do a couple of silly things. Now, you have some people that aren't an addictive personality. They get a nice place. They'll get all the things they've always wanted, you know what I mean? And then they'll enjoy their place with it. But then you get that addictive personality. They're like, you know what? We should do what? We always said we wanted to go to Italy. Yeah. We always said we wanted to go to Tuscany. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go to dinner.
Yeah.
Dinner. Okay. We got $12 million. Let's go to dinner in Tuscany. I want to go to dinner. So you fly off. You're gone for 2 days. You went there to get a meal. That excess can begin someone sliding down a wild slope, because then they're like, hey, you know what, party. Let's fly everybody. Yeah. And then before you know it, they're burning through money left and right. Those people you see that get $12 million a year, supposed to be for 30 years, they decide, no, I want all the money up front. So they only get half the money. Then that's gone in 3 years. You're like, how did you burn through $50 million in 3 years?
Oh, yeah.
Party like a rock star.
Oh, yeah, true enough. And I do think the other part of that, too, is, for some people, maybe they didn't have the best childhood growing up, or, maybe there was problems in the home that caused some emotional turmoil, and, thought that drugs or alcohol was their form of escape. I'm going to escape this mental anguish for a few hours, and then before you know it, they start taking more and more and getting deeper and deeper into it, and then they're addicted.
Answering Smile Money here. What am I having tonight? I am having Coke. But that's the drink, not the line. No. Friday night is my fun night. That's when I let the hair down. The rest of the week, I pretty much, I don't have hardly anything. Once a week, Small Money. Once a week for me. Now, he had a few comments there. He said, let's see here. His wife had a hell of a problem with smoking. I smoked for a long time, but when vape came out, I was able to wean myself down to a zero nicotine. Now I do zero nicotine. Now I make my own. All right, and I only have this out during the shows, but I'm sitting here. Other than that, I don't even use this anymore. So it helped get me off that.
Yeah, that's what my friend Mary did too. She was doing cigarettes, and then she went to vaping, and then doing the same process like you.
Yep, it helped. I mean, it made that transition really easy. Because once you were used to the vape, then you can start lowering, but you have to be dedicated to do it. You have to be willing to lower it. So I started making my own, and I would lower it and lower it and lower it until I got down to I was nothing. Now it's nothing. All it is propylene and vegetable glycerin. That's it. Nothing else.
Boy, we don't have very many people in the chat room tonight. Saturday night's
No,
not popular like some people. Chat room.
Good Wild One says the show link isn't working.
Oh, really?
Show link isn't working.
Yep.
Oh, I think it works to me.
That's weird.
I checked it out twice before I put it in there. I ran it through before I. Should be working. I'll check. I can check it again.
What you need?
Well, no, I can't check it again. If I log in again, it'll automatically shut the show down. So let's not do that.
We're getting to the good part with the serious subject, and somebody's listening, and all of a sudden, boom, we're done.
Yeah.
And the answer is.
Yeah.
Click.
And then when I go back in, they'll go, you cannot have another show. You have to buy it. It's like, no. Same one. I just went now.
Same one. I just want to get back.
You ended it. Sorry, pal. You got to buy another one. Yeah, let's not do that.
Yeah, let's not do that. That would not be good.
Because I'm logged in, so the second I touch a link like that, it automatically logs me out, logs me into a new one. And that's it. Show's over.
Yeah, exactly.
But I was also wild to hear. So I'm.
Hello.
That there's a. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. I'm going to go down this rabbit hole now. There's another portion to addiction that is it's negative, but apparently from the way I was reading and the way it was being described was when a person reaches a certain level in addiction and they have a spouse that's there, that spouse can feel obviously left out, ignored, nothing.
Yes.
But that spouse can become an enabler because once the person's need has been satisfied, then they love you now. It's like if you had somebody who had to have alcohol, no matter what, they couldn't deal with it no matter what, and then finally you went to the store and you brought one home and you sat down, what would their opinion of you be?
Oh, you're the greatest thing. Yeah.
You're awesome. Fantastic.
Yep.
That scene in what was the one? It was a Stephen King book, Maine. It had Kathy Bates, I think it is.
Misery?
No, it's in Maine when she worked at a hotel, and she killed her husband by having him fall down a well.
Yeah. I know which one you're talking about. I can't think of it.
They thought she had killed her boss before, but she hadn't.
Yeah.
But anyway, when she walked in, that's how she lured her husband. Was she walked in and she went, "I got you a little something." He went, "What?" And she showed him the bottle. And what had happened was he had been harming his daughter. And so she wanted to bait him. And what's the best way to bait the alcoholic? Make him love you. How do you do that? Hand him a bottle. And she knew that the love would only be there for so long.
Yeah.
And then it would turn violent. But the enabler still will go because that little bit something. It's something. I'll take it. It's something.
Well, and I think that's, one of the things that when Amy and I were talking about it, she had brought that up too, because she said you as a spouse go through so many different emotions when they're going through this process of being on their drugs or their alcohol or, one or both or whatever the case may be. And she said you do at times feel like you're just disregarded. and you do feel at times like you're not loved. So yeah, you're gonna want to get that love or that validation. And she goes, I was guilty of it. She goes, I did it. She goes, he also, alcohol and drugs both. He, did too much of both. And she said, I would, get him the alcohol and I would enable him. And she goes, and I knew that I did it. She goes, I know it was wrong, but she said at the same time, I still love him. I still care about him. And she said, so what am I to do?
And that's that interesting part. That's the interesting part. Question. Yeah, that's the interesting part when you stop and think about it. Now, it's easy to think about it from this side of the wall. Very, very easy to think about it from this side of the wall. Go on the other side of the wall.
Yeah.
All right? Where you're ignored. You get nothing. There's nothing there. It's just a blank stare or whatever. But every once in a while you notice that when this, I'm not going to do anything really, really bad. I'm just going to get him a 12-pack. Not that big of a, it's not a big deal. People drink 12-pack all the time, drink beer all the time. It's not a big deal. But that moment is when the individual's happy now. If they feel good with you. They're Dolores Claiborne, that's it, yep.
Yep, thank you, John Wild.
They're happy now. And then she or he can gather that love, that emotional connection they need.
The connection, and that's something too that I was asking her about is the connection. I says, do you feel that he has a connection to you? Do you feel like that he genuinely does love you outside of the whole issue of addiction? And she said, I do believe so, and now he's going to, try to do something else. And he said, if I can get through this process and I can get this taken care of, I'm sure I can get off the, alcohol. I'm sure I can get off the drugs completely. And I'm sure that life will, be better again. And, she's choosing to stay there and stick it out. And that's the other thing too that I want to point out, because I said to her, I go, how much shit did you get from like your parents and maybe your friends saying, you know what, your husband's an effing loser, why don't you leave him? He's never going to hit rock bottom, he's not going to change, I don't see, nobody had anything positive to say. But here's the thing, first of all, you're not in that person's shoes. And secondly, she saw something in that man that maybe family and friends didn't see, that we don't know or recognize that truly is good. And maybe that was something that, made her fall in love with him initially. And maybe she's not ready to give that up. Because she said so. She said, what people
need to do is they need to, I don't know why people aren't honest anymore. They're not real anymore. They don't have that genuine, because like someone like me would be like this. Listen, I know if it was me and this person, I'd be like, listen, I know you love your husband, your wife, whatever, but this issue is affecting you and I right now. So what I think we should do is you need more time to focus on that. I don't want to say things or behave differently around you. So let's take a break, hanging out, all right?
Yeah.
So you can focus on what you got to do, all right? None of my business. I'm not going to tell you to leave him. I'm not going to tell you to stay with her. None of that. But I need to separate myself for a while now, okay? Because it's bothering me. If it's bothering that person or there's family members that it's bothering, just say, listen, I don't want you guys to come around right now. I understand. I'm with you, 100%. Call me, whatever. No problem. I'm here for you like that. But right now, I don't want to have him at the house, or I don't want to have her at the house. All right?
Yeah.
It's not healthy. It's not good. And you need this time to focus on getting yourself taken care of and getting them. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just saying it's not good for me right now. So let's just you stay there. I'll stay here. Feel free to call me anytime. I can pick up the phone, no problem. But as for the whole interaction thing, it's not working right now.
No, I don't think. I think that's one thing that you really can't do. If I don't think that you can go ahead and tell the spouse or that friend or that relative, this is what you need to do, because you don't know. You're not in their situation. And I do think that you're right. If you can say, you know what, I love you both, say it's the husband and wife, and one of them has a problem, you say, I love you both, but I don't like the way that he's behaving, and I can't have him around me right now. But that's not to say that we're going to give up on this friendship. You still can call, you can still whatever, but I just can't be around it. And people do have the right to say that.
That's right. But no, it's just like any other common sense thing. If you don't like listening to loud music, stop going to the concert.
Yeah, don't make your ears ring.
Right, it's literally that. Like, I'm not happy with that behavior right now. It's not, and remember, that's another key thing to remember always is people also forget it's a behavior. Okay.
Yes.
I'm not giving an excuse or anything. You knew that person before they did it. Did you like that person before they did it? Yeah. Yep. They were cool as hell. Okay, this behavior is the problem though.
Yeah.
This behavior is what the problem is. So while this behavior is manifesting itself, really, you and me, I'm here for you. Call me, talk, whatever it is. But while this behavior is happening, I can't be a part of it. Sorry, I can't be. I'm not going to enable it. I'm not going to turn my head and go, Jesus, what? No, sure, free. Come on over. No, I'm enabling that. I'm not going to enable.
Yeah, no, and I don't think that that you should. And I mean, that's just my opinion. I don't think that you should. But it's different when it, like I said, it's a spouse or it's a relative or it's a brother or it's a sister.
Absolutely.
It's a bit of a different ball game. But I have to say, in all honesty, that I was really surprised that she even, one, brought it up, and two, discussed that with me. And she was letting me ask questions. And I wasn't coming from, I'm going to be an asshole about it. I was coming from, I don't understand this. So clue me in. Like, what do you see? What have you experienced? What are your thoughts on all of this? And, she had some pretty damn good answers. She's smart when it comes to it, but, your head and your heart, two different things.
Right, and nobody can get in there and tell anybody, because no matter what, it's like, the best way I guess I would describe it would be like a mother and a child, or a father and a child, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You raise this child, and then all of a sudden, this happens. Do you put him in a trash bag and throw him out on the side of the curb and go, well, let's get a new one? No, this is forever. This is your kid. All right?
Yeah.
And some people have as much time dedicated to their addiction as they would have raising a child.
Oh, absolutely.
So this behavior now is so hard to even change, because if you go to work for 10 years at the same place for 10 years, then you're no longer there. What's the chances of you driving there by accident? Pretty good. All right, you might do that the first week. I've done it.
Automatic pilot. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I said too. Automatic pilot. What do you mean? It blinkers, everything went on. I didn't need anything. I know exactly where I'm going. But they're so used to certain things. That's why they say you have to change your whole routine. And the stuff that I was reading, they get down to the nitty gritty. What do you do in the morning? Well, I get up and I make some coffee, then I go sit outside on the deck and I drink coffee and all that. So is that usually where you start planning? How am I going to? Well, yeah, I'm thinking about it then. No more coffee on the deck. Nope. No more coffee on the deck. It's like little tiny things. It's like this. They want you out of that routine. You have to get out of that routine. You're on automatic pilot. And as long as you're on automatic pilot, you're driving to the dealers. Some people drove to work. You're driving to the dealer's house. Yeah, I gotta get this. Yep. All right, I gotta go down to the ATM. I gotta grab $20 and now get this. And they're planning. So your whole morning's now planning, and it's hard when you think of all that. And then you realize there's people that are spouses and kids that are being left out. Now you don't want them involved in that, but they're being, they're not. They're being left out. That part of their day is being stolen from them.
Exactly. And the other piece of it, too, that, she talked about, and not in great detail, is the lying, She said, I'm so tired of being lied to. She says, what do I got, idiot stamped on my forehead? I certainly know what he's doing and, when he's doing it. But it's like you say, they have this routine. They have this whole process. And, she has a hard time with that too. But, she's gotten to the point where she's gone through many, many emotions. First it was, okay, this isn't really happening. Then it was, okay, no, I'm really pissed off at you. And then it was, okay, well, here, maybe if I just, give you a drink, you'll be happy and we'll, skip out on the drama and we can have some normal, husband and wife time for a while, So they go through a whole emotional process, just like the person that's doing it.
Christmas comes, you're like, oh my God, I don't want to have a shitty holiday.
Yeah.
You know what?
Here.
Look, we got a little bit of spiked eggnog. Just listen, keep it mellow. Let's just have a nice. Can we please freaking have a nice holiday, please? Can we not have it? Can we just have a mellow? You know it's not going to happen. But you hope.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And that few minutes after the first few sips, that smile, that little bit of a nudge and a little wink and a tickle, you're like, okay, I got attention. I got attention.
There's that person.
On the holidays, I got attention. Yeah. But I mean, you're really, it's no. And what ends up happening is when I was reading, this one lady that guy was talking was, you mentioned lying. They also talked about it, but they talked about the forced lies. That's the spouse. That's no, we're not coming over. He's not feeling good tonight. He's not. They already know. They already know.
Yeah.
They know. The friends know. They already know.
Yeah.
But you, it's that I'm gonna lie to you, okay?
Yeah.
So you pretend to believe my lie, and then make me feel that I guess I passed that lie, and we'll just move on. And it's that
just
forced
patronizing each other.
Right. You feel forced to lie, so you lie.
Yeah.
To protect, but in that lie, you're still enabling. Mama, that's interesting.
That's an interesting question.
I'll let you pass that one on.
Well, that is an interesting question. Why don't people that are trying to go through rehab turn their dealers in? I don't know. They must have been having quite the conversation prior to that. But yeah, it's a tough subject. It's not, there's no quick fix for it. Every individual is different. Some people make it out alive. Some people don't.
And the sad part is when it's when getting better is turned. And I'm saying this, and yes, I'm saying it because I just feel like saying it. When helping people get better is turned into a business. All right, that it's now. I make money off that addiction. You have the peddlers, but the sad part that I was reading is you've also got a lot of rehab places that are just, they're just bilking people for so much money, and it's making it like unable to even get help sometimes. That's how some of these weird places creep up.
Yeah.
Like the ones in Canada that I was reading about, where they allow you to come in and shoot heroin in a doctor's office. I was like, what? I was blown away. Was it Ottawa? I think it was Ottawa.
Probably.
Yeah, it was Ottawa. But they have a doctor's office with doctors in it. And all these little cubicles. And they're all, the drawers are all full of needles and alcohol and swabs and all that. And you just roll in with your illegal bag, sit down, and shoot up right there.
Yeah.
That way you're under doctor's supervision as you're shooting up. I was like, what? Talk about enabling. And their thing was, we're making sure they're using clean needles. No, you're not. That's a side effect. Are you freaking kidding me? And they literally, they want to do it in the U.S. now. They want to do it in the U.S., have these places where you can go, shoot up, I guess, and be made sure you're safe or whatever. I don't understand that. That's like taking enabling to a whole new level.
Oh yeah, I don't get it. I don't understand. What's the end game there? quite the conversation going on in the chat room.
He says, heavy subject. This is making me want to get some booger sugar and go gambling or watch porn. Yes,
Wow.
it is a heavy topic.
And I think lots of people don't. Yeah, and I think that's why a lot of people don't talk about it, because it is it's a very serious subject, and most people don't want to have to really think about it at all. You know, it's crazy. I can't believe that we're down to our last 15 minutes. Holy cow! I thought it was going to take a lot. You know, I thought it was going to be one of these hours that was just going to drag on because I didn't really have enough to say, or I didn't know what to say. What was, which direction?
You always criticize yourself, but you do very, very well. I mean, you're reading from documented stuff. You're giving people where this documented information is coming from. That's good stuff. Talk about Nikki Sixx book and all that. They know they can go online and look up stuff like that. That's not opinion. That's just you're saying, hey, in case you didn't know about this, this is what I read on it. And telling people this is what I read is, you don't have to say, you don't always say I know this. But people appreciate that. So don't criticize yourself.
Well,
you got a lot of good information, girl, and people like the show a lot because it's real.
Well, that's true. I like to keep it real. Just saying. So anyways, I know we don't usually get a lot of callers, but if there's anybody that wants to share a story, please do call in. It's 1-818-532-9773.
Now, the one beside you there has been quiet the whole time.
Eric
not a word.
Been sitting here listening the whole entire hour. You want to pop in and give your opinion or concern or story?
Here. They're waving at you.
Yeah.
Just wave. There you go. He counted all
You got
his
a
pennies.
haircut.
Yeah. He said, I counted all
many?
my pennies. Well, I got $1,125. I don't think the piggy bank holds $1,125. I've got a lot of money, $1,125.
So there.
It's all pennies. What, buddy?
All pennies.
How many did you get? $80.
How many if you had $80?
Yes.
A lot. You don't worry about it, though. You just have some fun.
I want to be a kid again.
Yeah.
So good. So easy.
So
Piggy bank with $145,000.
Yep.
that'd be quite the piggy bank.
Yeah. I want that piggy bank. Just saying.
It'd be like a Monte Carlo with a little slot in the top of the roof. So you have anything to add there?
Yeah. Go ahead, Eric.
I thought it might be terrible to say, hang on a second, I gotta go get a beer and I'll come back. No, I unfortunately know a few people that have gone through the problem. I mean, one of my best friends was about as far down the heroin rabbit hole as you can go, and has got himself cleaned up, and actually runs groups now, trying to help as many people. And it really makes a difference when the person that's basically overseeing the group has gone through it. It's a lot harder to pull the wool over somebody's eyes when they've been right there and done it. But it's just I can see how this stuff all starts, because you've heard of several celebrities. I know there was a time period that even people like Rush Limbaugh were being accused of having a drug problem, and I can honestly see how easily it can happen. It's been quite a while now for me, but I ripped the meniscus in my knee, had the typical microscopic surgery, and had it repaired, which is bullshit because they don't repair anything. They just cut the loose shit loose, so you go only in one direction. But of course, I got prescribed Lortabs, and it was to the tune of 8 of them a day. And about the time that anybody else would be going back to work, I was experiencing a lot of pain. Well, what had actually happened is when they started me on physical therapy, the physical therapist actually ripped the knee again, but because it was an insurance thing, they couldn't get authorization, so they literally made me go to physical therapy for, it was another month before they finally said this isn't getting any better, and finally got approval for another MRI, and sure enough, it's ripped. I have to have another surgery. So I've got 2 back-to-back knee surgeries on the same knee. I'm taking my Lortabs. I've been off work now for over a year, and finally one day my pharmacist says to me, it's like, Eric, this shit's hard on your liver, and I'm just like, oh really? I at that point in time, I didn't know that, and that's like, here's me thinking, I'm just taking these to help keep the pain. I wasn't, taking it for extra fun or anything like that. As a side note, though, they mix well with vodka, and I'm like, okay, fine. I don't want to be destroying my liver. I'm pretty young, so I figured, shit, I'll just go home and not take any. So I go from taking 8 tablets a day to none. Well, it took about 4 hours before if a simple question like, hey, Eric, just kind of wondering, yeah, what time is it? And it'd be like, go! You'd like literally blow up. And it's like, I couldn't do it. It was like I had drank 3 gallons of the highest grade coffee you ever got your hands on, and then shotgunned a whole bunch of energy drinks. It's just I couldn't do it, and the only way I could get myself off of the painkillers was I basically did it the old-fashioned way. I went from 8 of them a day to 7 of them a day to 6 of them a day to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and finally I was able to stop taking them. But this is something where it didn't start off as, hey, give me some tabs so I can swig some vodka and have a good time on Friday night. It was, I had a lot of pain in my knee. And I was, this wasn't even like I was buying them off the street. Every time I ran out, I just got the script filled again. Nobody said anything until that pharmacist did. And I can see how people can get easily caught up in something like that. Just what I went through, not even like the recreational, or it turned into, you really just enjoyed that feeling of having the drug in your system. But it was a difficult thing. I thought it would be easy to stop taking them cold turkey, and it wasn't going to happen.
I've always been so paranoid of that. I don't want to sound like, I'm not trying to sound like a super trooper. I've always I won't take it. I won't take any of it. And when I have the wisdom out, wisdom teeth out, but I'll just deal with it. And yeah, it hurts like a mother. But I've always been paranoid that I won't take it. I'll take, ibuprofen. I will eat those like candy. But nope, I won't ever take any of that stuff because I'm always too paranoid. I'm gonna wind up, stuck on it.
Oh yeah, I think that's a concern for a lot of people. I know, working in the health industry, that is, something that most of the providers are concerned about, is making sure that they're not giving too much of the, medication to allow a situation like what Eric just described to happen to that patient. So,
of course, how long is it going to be before we go the other way? I mean, these days it's like you could come in with your arm or your leg in your hand, going, "Hey, this fell off," and they'd be like, "Well, we don't want to give you anything to, any painkillers." All of a sudden, doctors don't want to get into trouble, but that's like a whole different subject.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying that, I think more people out there are recognizing how much of a slippery slope it actually can be.
Well, and don't forget, for a long time, I mean, I got paranoid with the VA because the VA, I mean, whatever you want. Back in the day, whatever you want. They just wanted you medicated and stay the hell away. I mean, the VA just seemed to always. They always were. Everybody got doped up. It was like I remember my father when I called him. I said, "Look, they want to take my leg. They're talking about it's going to have to go anyways." And I explained to him everything that they said, and he was like, "I'm on my way out front." I haven't been back since. I mean, but I mean, they were wanting to medicate right then. Oh, they'll dope you up. Oh, they'll dope you right up. Oh yeah. They're happy to. They'll dope you right up.
Yeah. Not so much nowadays. It's a bit tougher to get those scripts. Honestly. Oh yeah. The chat room is especially when he's carrying on quite the conversation. I don't know if it's by himself or if there's other people in there. Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, no, there's other people there.
Oh, I see a little company joined us, and Michael Brown's there, and Gun Wild 1. Awesome.
But so in the last 3 minutes, how you want to wrap up here? Okay. There won't, by the way, folks, there won't be any exit music because "See You Later, Alligator" just doesn't like to do it.
No, it doesn't quite do it. I want to take a moment to say thanks for everybody that listened, and that was in the chat room, and that will be listening on podcast. This is by far one of the toughest subjects because it's something that kind of hit home with me. It was not a very easy subject to talk about, but I feel like the more that you put out there and the more exposure that people have and will think about it, maybe people will get the help that they need. I mean, I'm sure I could sit here and rattle off 20 different numbers for Alcoholics Anonymous and, addicts and whatnot, but I will say that, I hope that somebody that is out there listening that maybe is going through a bad time with a family member or a friend or whatever, just know that you're not alone. There's other people out there that are in a similar situation. I'm sure there's support groups out there. Never stop seeking out help. Never stop trying to get an answer.
Right, absolutely. And getting better is forever.
Get better forever. Be healthy. Stay healthy.
It's not, you can't do it in a week. You can't do it in it's forever.
Right. Remember, Rome was not built in a day.
That's right.
And the last thing I want to say is to quote one more part of Nikki's book. It says, "I don't wake up craving a drink or drugs every day, but that doesn't mean I'm perfect or everything is easy. I'm still in recovery. I always will be." And I think as long as people who are in that situation keep that mentality, you have a fighting chance.
Yep, absolutely. They have, I just noticed they have a sitcom about addiction. I didn't even realize that.
Oh, really?
Yes, it's called Mom.
Oh.
Have you ever seen that?
No.
I was going to check it out later on. It's called Mom. It's about, I guess, a mother and her daughter were all addicts and just like going wackadoo crazy. And it's them in AA and all the other Gamblers Anonymous and all that stuff. I guess they were addicted to everything. And it's a comedy. I ran across it while I was looking stuff up today. I was like, well, I'll have to look at that. Mm-hmm. How the hell would you make that a comedy? I don't know.
I don't know. But, sometimes they say laughter is the best medicine. So who knows?
I don't know.
It's open for everybody.
Yeah, I want to check it out. 'Cause I'm just curious. How in the world would you make that into a comic?
Yeah.
It seems odd.
I think I gotta look at that too. I'm kind of curious. Absolutely.
All right, folks. On that note, we're going
That's
to be out of here. Have a great one. We thank you all
Yes.
for being here.
Yep. Everybody have a good night. Have a good week ahead of you, and we'll see you next week. Or
And on
we'll
that
talk
note,
next week.
I'm going to push the button.
Okay. Push the damn button.